Okay, we're back.
Yay.
We
Time.
let's see
Woo!
time. This one is um
Yes, I wear this every
something.
time. Get used to
It,
it.
that was what I was saying. So this OCF was something.
You
It
wore
was
yours this
next. I
too,
did,
so
but
it
it
wasn't just
stirs. Yeah, it was an experience. This episode of Organized Crime was an experience. It was-
it sure was. Oh boy.
Anyway, we're gonna get to work. It's
Start with
called.
a long recap of basically telling us what
Yeah,
has
the
happened.
episode is called Original Sin.
And it basically tells us what's been happening lately.
Yeah,
Yada
who
yada yada.
escaped me? Blah blah blah. But the
Um
first thing is Elliot's like in his kitchen, and he's his own like little detective wall on the glass. So he's like stuck on the one Randall calls.
dude might be suspended, but he does not care.
No. And then
He's
Randall
gonna
calls.
do it. Randall calls and basically talking how's it going, and then he goes on and says that Ma has picked a really nice place
Mhm.
that she wants to go to, an assisted living place. um and Elliot's like no, but Randall goes on and is like she chose this place, she wants to go, and he's like no, we'll discuss it later. She wants to go, we'll discuss it later, okay, bye.
Yeah. Elliot's
he
like, no,
doesn't he doesn't he doesn't want to
no.
lose his mom. He knows like this is probably what's best for her, but I don't think he wants to lose his mom.
Yeah. It's best for her, but he's like, oh,
Yeah.
he doesn't really talk about why either. But
Then we get to go back to the squad members that, are still there, which is basically two right now. Because
is
Reyes
she he's
took a
taking
leave
breaks.
took a
He'll
leave
be
of
back though. 'Cause we know he's coming back, but
Bell
he's
was
building
hurt.
recently.
So it was legit
It's
just Jet.
Pursuer, it's Jen Pursuer.
Yeah. So there's a press conference going on, that Bonner's doing.
Elliot's watching the TV while he's working.
Elliot's watching TV and then Jet and Sam are watching it. And currently, the police think that Cahill, the guy who has been holding all the beach parties, is the
Mm,
one who killed the girls, and that
yeah,
the reason
they
why
think
he's dead
he's
is
dead.
because he himself.
Yeah, yeah. But we all from what is a watcher, we know this is not true.
Yeah,
But
we don't know that's not true, but
as a
higher
viewer of the show, you
higher
know it's not
powers
true.
in town are like, this is what you're gonna say. So,
Mm,
um, and Sam's basically like, yeah, I don't want to know what this guy, this judge is up to. And Jet's like, well, I do. You can
yeah,
tell she's pissed. She's like, I hate this so much. She's wearing a pretty shirt, which is beside the point, but we point out her outfits every single episode. So,
yeah.
um, after the press conference, the judge is like, oh, you didn't say everything we were supposed to say. And Meredith's like, oh, well, I think I did a pretty
Sorry,
good
Dan.
job. And then
He's
she's
like,
like, "Oh, you should just close the case and take some time off. Like
he's like,
everything's fine. We figured everything out." And she's like, "No,
no, it's not. We're not done. Like,
no." Well, her father insisted,
yeah,
and then because the town made him interim police chief.
which is kind of whack,
Woo!
but whatever.
Now he's a judge and a police. This
It's just
town
like,
is crooked and corrupt. Okay, this
well, this half of the town, from what they explained,
yeah,
it was like part of the town.
part
Yeah,
of the town is all Bonners, and the rest are
it's not.
legit just everybody else. And so great. Meredith, like, what the hell do I do? And basically doesn't have any other choice. Um, then we get okay, I'll admit it was a kind of a nice scene with Ayana is
Yeah,
visiting Elliot, and she's got this really pretty orange shirt on. Danielle looked gorgeous. Um,
I think that's Ayan's apartment. Pretty certain that he
what?
came to her apartment.
Oh, no, I thought it was his.
That's hers.
Oh, it looked like his. I wasn't.
They both look very similar, but that's hers.
That's why I
I
wasn't paying
watched it again.
attention.
I was like, that's hers. And I watched it the second time. I was like, oh, and
Oh,
that's
okay. Well, and he brought her food. He
how
brought her
nice.
pastrami with slaw, mustard, and pickles,
How nice of him.
and which is an interesting combination. And I don't know why this is my first thought when like saw the pictures. I was like, oh my God, is she pregnant? Is it a pregnancy craving? It's probably not. She's
Hmm,
probably not, but that was
probably.
my first thought. Who knows?
Who knows?
Show has done crazier things.
You never know about it. Who
Um,
knows?
and right, Elliot, right, Ayana was trying to ask her Elliot questions on like how he's doing, and Elliot was like, okay, I'm fine. How's
Like there's something
Reyes?
about she they said something about his like she was like they asked you for a
Be
psychic eval. He
probably.
was like, what? He's trying to blow off the fact that like,
Yeah.
a psychic
And he's
eval was
like, oh, how's Reyes? And Ayana's like, he's doing what he needs to do. Now don't change the subject.
coming.
Um, Basically, he goes on that it's like they want me to do a psych eval,
Yep.
and he does not want to because he thinks it's unnecessary.
Or like it kind of is on me,
And then Elliot gives Ayana the slightly awkward hug.
Yeah. He's like, I gotta go. He's basically like,
Yeah.
oh,
And then Ayana makes this phone call.
they don't really say to who. She just makes a phone call. And then and then it's like the next thing is Ellie Bonner's outside of Elliot's apartment. That's the next. And then she shows up at the Elliot gets out of the car going in the apartment. He's Bonner standing there with the box. He's like, what are you doing here? Like, why was she there?
And she's like, the son of a bitch fired me. And then
Uh,
that's when we know, oh God, she's had a bit too
too much.
much.
Yeah. Yeah. And she drove here. And Elliot's like, how did you get here? He obviously
And
remembered
he brings her back to her place. He brings her back to his place. And then we transition to the next morning and she's in his bed.
him.
Okay, not like that.
Not like literally, it's not like that at all. It's just
Like he let her sleep there
well,
because
it was not even the
she
kill.
was wasted.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing weird about it. Even though I ship it, it's
And
still nothing happened.
nothing happened. Okay. She wakes up and she's like, what am I doing here? And
Hmm.
and make sure she's okay before bringing her out to his living room where the
The
squad has all
squad.
gathered. Legit. And um
Yeah,
he's introducing everybody and he's like, this is Vargas, what he's like, what's your first name?
mm,
And he says it. I don't remember what he said. But he's like, oh, you consider me part of the team? And Elliot just legit just brushes it off. Like
yeah.
this kid ignores the crap out of him.
And then
Annoys him.
he does
And then
benefit from him later. But we're not talking about it.
he's like Detective Sloopmacher's Detective Pursuer, and then the two are like Jet, Sam. Like
Like
you,
casual.
you don't need to say our last names. That wait, simple enough.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like working at you know, they're working at Elliot's house, and then they go on and like something about the case and her father and whatever, and then Jet is like, whoever told you that is a liar. And
Yeah.
Elliot's like that. I'm like, okay, that continues my little headcanon that Jet hates corrupt authority,
Mm-hmm.
which he
And
would.
authority, she's
Yes.
down, down.
Well, against the
Yep, it's just very Republican.
Jet so would. And okay, so then they get into more digging, and Elliot's like, oh, I gotta go. And then Jet immediately
Yeah.
stands up. She's like, Stabler, you can't go. I promised Belle you wouldn't go AWOL before your sick eval.
He's like, well, somebody named Ellis did what the fuck. You know, bad
I'm
things would not have happened if
sorry,
he had
but
just listened to Logan.
the fact that like Bella's like,
I tell
who
you what,
can I get to do this? Jet.
making sure you don't go nowhere, okay?
Because the thing is, Jet is the kind of person who's like, you give her a task, she'll do it.
Mm-hmm. He's like, keep Elliot on tightly. Don't hurt
Oh, he's
himself.
like, oh no, no, it'll be fine. I'll be back. I just gotta go check on something. She's like, Stabler.
Gotta leave him here because he did this last time.
And then goes with Sam and legit just leaves and Jet's just standing there
Hmm.
like she's done. She's done with him, which we have been writing for years at this point. But now canon has finally started proving us right. That she's done with his BS. Um,
Hmm.
and he asked Sam to figure out what the little substance was that he found in the trash a few episodes ago. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I'm on it." Um, they investigation thing they're trying to figure out is that they found the first victim, and they found out that Bonner knew her, and the brother knew her, and everything. And so they go to talk to her mother,
Yeah. This is somebody they went to school with or something.
and what are these two lines? Because I forgot to write them. Who said them? Oh, no, never mind, I remember. So they talk to her, try to get some more info. Basically, the mom's like this brother really liked her daughter, etc. And Bonner now has things to think about. Um, and then they get a conversation of the brothers at work. He's going over these pictures because he is currently working on restoring a church, and the father shows up and he's like, "Okay, you're not at the cabin." Um, and the son Eric is basically like, "You said you were going to fix things," and the dad's basically like, "I can only do so much, so for the love of God, try to control yourself."
And they're like, oh.
Meaning,
We're
yeah,
like, how much do
dad
you
knows.
know? It's
The
how
dad
much
knows
do you know is the question.
Yeah, Dad knows what he's doing. Dad knows he's killing these women. He's like, just can you stop
And
for once?
he's like, bro, you better chill. Like, they're gonna be on to you. They already are.
Yeah. Then, he leaves and he's being driven by one of the cops that works for Bonner, and he's mad because he's like, you said I was gonna be chief. And the guy's like, basically in time. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Um, the phone rings. Elliot's doing some work. The phone rings.
It's
He
like,
hears the
it's
rest.
like he was all like, when the time is right, you'll get what
And
you want.
yeah. So, and then we transition to Elliot. He's working. He gets a phone call. The guy's like, "You took in the graspy voice," which we know is Eric, but he's like, "You took away my special place,"
Yeah.
and he basically goes on about how he said stuff about how he'd love to cut Elliot because he took his special place where he could clean the girls, and he basically
Yeah.
said he's gonna carve his flesh.
Or
Holy
like,
fuck!
or like, oh my.
Oh my god!
And I was like, bro, it was crazy. But it's like he had plans, and it wasn't gonna be good.
Then we find out the guy goes to confession and everything, and Elliot's like, please tell me he went recently, because then we get footage somehow or something, or information. I didn't really understand that because aren't confessions supposed to be confidential?
Mm, I think so. Depends.
Yeah, okay. Well, Jet and Vargas are trying to do this work thing,
And it's sleepy.
and it's legit taking all night. And then there's one point where Jet's just
You're sleepy.
leaning against her desk, and you could see her head dropping a little and her eyes closed. I'm like, oh my
Vargas is sleepy too. He has his glasses off. They're
they're
both
legit,
real sleepy.
that's Jet is sleeping, standing up. Because of course, like Jet can't sit, apparently can't sleep laying down. Oh, and then there was these behind the scenes pictures that came out that Chris posted, and Ainsley is legit doing a script read, table
Mhm.
read,
So
sitting on, to which I texted Taryn and I made a joke and I was like, Jet knows it, Ainsley knows it.
Nobody.
Nope, no, they don't know how to sit. It's cute.
Mhm.
And oh my god, I gotta find Ainsley's comment because Ainsley made a funny comment about it. Because, well, first off, Chris made like a joke that's like, oh, and then Jet gets washed in a washing machine, and everyone's like, what?
Yeah, he's being silly, and she responds back, and it's really.
Everyone's like, what are you talking about?
He was being goofy, and then she responds. I forgot what it is.
No, I gotta find it. I think I saved it. Oh, I did save the picture of her. Like, yeah, she was falling asleep for a good 4 seconds, and then the
They
phone
were
rang,
all
and they both
they were
woke
all
up.
falling asleep. She
They
and
were like,
Vargas were sleepy. He had been up like all night.
I gotta find the picture now because it's gonna bug me otherwise.
It's on Chris's Instagram. What's up? Mm,
Yeah, okay, I found the picture. So legit, just everybody in chairs and Ainsley on the floor. And Chris wrote, next week on OC, Ainsley Seeger gets washed in hot water and then put in a dryer. And then Ainsley wrote, caught having floor time.
what time is
Like,
the best time?
you can't tell me that either Jet or her aren't freaking neurodivergent somehow.
Hmm?
Like,
What time is the best time?
floor time is the
Oh,
best time, yes. Oh my god, I love this comment. It says, don't let the size fool you. Underestimating her will be your biggest and potentially last mistake. That is so true. That is so funny. But it's like, just like, yep, chilling with her, we're chilling with their snacks and the glasses and just reading their script on the floor.
okay.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so the phone rang and they both woke up. Um, they got a hit on, something, and I don't remember what, but
Yeah, well, they were trying to find like make a an AI image of the victims.
so, and then they're like it's like proof that, Eric did this. And now they have to go tell Meredith.
Yeah,
So basically they like legit all gather at Elliot's place again. And she walks into the room and it's like an
because
intervention.
realistically, I realized they did that because they were trying to avoid Shaw.
Oh yeah, that too.
That's what they
They
were actually doing. They've been
legit none
telling.
of them care right now about following the rules. Um, and they go on to be like, we think it's your brother. And she's like, my brother is harmless.
And they were like,
She's
he's
like, he's basically a man that never grew up. Like, he wouldn't
yeah,
do. And they go into all the evidence. And she's like, no, he's just odd. And Jet looks at her like, excuse me.
he's like, oh, I know what, and that's not odd.
Yeah, exactly. I'm odd. That's not odd. That's insane.
Yeah,
I know the difference. And she's got these cute little boots with rhinestones. Um, and Meredith is in disbelief. And then Elliot's like, well, you said he was the man that never grew up. And that's when she realized, yeah,
they were.
my brother did this. Um, yeah. So Meredith goes to Eric's workplace and tries to look for evidence, but then of course Eric shows up. So, Elliot's like, get out of there.
Mhm.
But she's like, she does it pretty well, but first she's like nervous and starts to
She's
mess
real
up.
nervous. I was like, she's gonna blow it. She's gonna blow it. He's gonna kill it.
Then he goes into how he's like restoring this church and showing her pictures. And then he goes, "We never hung out before. It's cool." And
Yeah,
I'm
they're like,
like,
oh,
God. Like,
okay.
I like for a second I was like, I think he really does care for her sister, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he generally has the love of a sibling, but like,
Yeah. But
other than that,
then he says, "Don't wash away with the sea, sweetheart," which
you're
is
wet.
what all the girls have been saying. The guy said, and
Mm,
that's when it hits her. And I was like,
truly,
"Oh,
they're right.
is that it?" And he mentioned he's like, "Oh, it's fine." Like she asked questions about Jessica, and he said that Jessica didn't like the beach. It's like, oh God.
Yeah.
Well, while they're doing this and investigating, we find out that Elliot's psyche eval is an hour,
Mhm. Like,
and
you know,
she like, oh
not
crap,
prepared. You're not,
not
you know.
he legit borrowed Vargas's suit, which
He's
makes
like,
sense
but
because
he
the
was like, what size
prototype
you wear?
they put out, like, that's not an Elliot. I mean,
We're like,
it,
this size.
I
He's
mean,
like, what size jacket you wear?
funny enough, this is like the first time where I'm like, oh, he kind of actually looks pretty good. It makes sense because it wasn't his suit.
And, yeah. He's like, what size jacket you wear? And he's just like, Vargas seems unsure about even giving him the jacket. He like looks at him and he's like, he gives it to him when he wants.
The guy that like so Sam and Jet are like having their earpieces and they're listening to this conversation, and then Sam was like, he has to do a psyche eval, and then Jet is like, tells you everything you need to know about him. Burned. Oh my gosh. But she's
It's
correct.
so funny.
And he's legit still he's waiting for IAB to call him for a psych eval, and he
Yeah.
still has the earpiece in.
Which is a bad idea. That was a
I
terrible
have no
idea.
idea why, but I mean, they're like, Jet's like, "How you doing?" He's like, "My ass is asleep and I'm drinking stale coffee." She's like, "Yep, speed dating with shrinks."
Like you're so
So he gets called in. They start asking him questions.
you gotta start staring off into oblivion for a hot second. But he's listening to the earpiece and they don't know
Yeah.
that. So you kind of just like, like,
And the first few questions it's going well, but they bring up his dad again, and he's like, "Are we talking about what I did, or are we talking about what my dad did?" It's like,
he's so defensive, real defensive. Like, you're not
he
gonna
doesn't,
pass if you don't ever agree. You don't ever.
yeah,
He's never gonna pass if he's always defensive.
Then he hears something about Eric, and he legit starts talking out loud like he's talking
Yeah.
in
And
your
they were
piece.
like,
Like,
you're gonna
oh
think you're insane.
God, they're gonna think he's going crazy. And they
Exactly. They
do.
probably already do. They already do, but it made it worse.
And then the detectives are like,
It did.
oh, because it's that they
They
found
hear
Eric somewhere with another girl, and he's like talking to them. And the main woman is like, "Are you do you have an earpiece in?" And he's like, "You know what? Yeah, yeah, I do." And he goes on, he makes a little, and he's like, yeah, I do, and I need to go. This is important."
oh, part of it is
And they're
also
like,
he hears Bashir's talking about because there's this scene
"Oh
where he
yeah."
goes to Bashir's wife who was pregnant, very
And
pregnant,
then
and
all of a sudden
she
she
was bleeding.
collapses and
She's doing the
she
laundry,
starts
then she starts bleeding. You're like,
bleeding
oh
a lot.
no.
And basically, everybody hears it, and Jet's like, "Call an ambulance." And like this is legit the point where like, Jet said she didn't want to be in charge, but legit she's taking charge because she
Mhm,
gets shit done
mhm.
and knows what to do. And yeah. So but yeah,
They're like, if you leave, Elliot, this
happening.
won't be good. He's like,
Elliot has to deal with the case. Elliot's like, "I gotta go," and they're like,
if
you
you leave,
know
this will be a problem. You won't
it
pass.
there's a problem." He turns right around and he looks at them and he's like, "I made a lot of mistakes, but I never turned back on my oath, and I'm not about to start now."
You're like, well,
And leaves. Like, okay.
you're like, you're asking to be fired, but
So
we don't. Okay, okay,
yeah.
sure, but you're asking to be fired. Like, they're gonna be like, he left. He didn't even take like a
Yeah, so Eric is then, we switch back to Eric. He has another girl. He got her drunk with Long Island iced teas.
Mhm.
Um, Basically it's like Jet sees it and she's like trying to get a patrol car, and it's like
They're like
five
5
minutes
minutes
away,
out.
and
It's
she's
not.
like, damn it. And she legit takes her shit and she's like, I'm going now. I'm gonna do this myself.
Mhm.
Um, oh wait, no, that was it. It was no, never mind.
You're right.
No, I think that might have been later. Anyway,
She's like, the unis are like 5 minutes out, and then
well, and then Elliot's like, fine, then I'm going. So he
because
goes, he corners gets in front of the
they're getting in
car,
the car. The girl had already gotten in the car. Eric was in the car, and then
and he's
and then
like
Elliot
trying to
walks
pull
in.
him over, and he's like, well, okay, officer, but where's your badge?
He's like,
And
but I don't
Elliot's
have
like,
one. But
well, I'm off duty right now, so I don't have it, but you need to get out of the
but you
car.
need to get out of the car.
And that's when Eric recognizes him.
He's like, I recognize you. And then it was like, oh,
And then he tases Elliot.
not quite. It's that like Elliot, he starts to get out of the car, and then the girl, he starts to chase, and the girl gets out of the car.
She runs.
She runs,
He's
and then he tases
trying
Elliot.
to fight
Elliot tries to
Eric,
stop him. You know how he is. He gets physical, and then Elliot gets
but
tased,
he's weakened from the tase, so Eric
and then he
pulls
gets
out
tased
the
again.
arm.
Then he gets tased again. Then
Yeah,
because Elliot's like halfway in the car at this point, and he gets
legit
tased again.
slumped hanging over. Was like,
He's in
okay.
the like mostly in the car at this point, and
And then
then
he takes out a rag and puts it over Elliot's mouth, and
he's,
Elliot slowly
yeah,
falls
I
down.
got
And you're
questions.
like,
Like, how did he like slide Elliot?
that.
But there's questions. I got like, how did he like slide Elliot across the car without anybody?
But it also answers the questions of like, oh, that's
Because
how
we were
this
like, how is it gonna
happened.
happen? That was my question the
And it's
whole
like,
time
oh,
was how's it gonna
that's
happen?
what he was, and it's like, oh, great, that's what he was going to do to the girl.
Yeah, it all makes sense because that's what he does to the girls anyway. But it didn't make
Um,
sense originally. We're like, mm,
and so the first of Danielle's tweets that I saved, she
they're-
wrote, "How in the now, TF." Yeah,
yeah,
pretty much.
because it was like because it doesn't make sense at first. It doesn't make sense. He's like, how's he gonna carry this large man?
Yeah.
Pull him,
So
pull Elliot more into the car because legs are probably hanging out of the car still. Pull him into the car, and then he explains it a little more in a minute. 'Cause I was like, this don't even make sense.
so
He has a
next,
wheelbarrow because in the next scene I watched it again. He's like, he's like, luckily I have this. I wouldn't have been able to carry you down. I said, oh,
yeah, so
it's a blink if you miss it. It's a wheelbarrow. Like you won't see it if you're not like looking for it again. I said, oh, that's
good to know. So we get the next commercial, and then we come back, and it's the scene where Elliot is chained in the old church, legit, like he's about to be on a cross, you
yeah,
know, arms out, shirt open, for whatever
yeah.
fucking reason. Although my mom was funny. She's like, God, he just wanted to show his abs. And I was like,
Here's
oh my God, my mom is killing it. That's
yeah.
hysterical.
Mhm.
It's probably right, but
Probably right.
I just
They're
feel like
like his
expecting her to say
sons.
that. Um, so Eric goes on to like, tell more about his thing, and he says that, he wasn't torturing the girls. They were
They
his
were sacrificed.
sacrifices.
You go.
Oh, great.
Mm, not even a
It
religious man. That's
says
what it
pain teaches acceptance. That's the first step to absolution. And then
because he
he cuts
punches Elliot in
Elliot.
the stomach for it, and then he says that line, or like,
It's
oh,
legit like the slash like that most people like see in like versions of, the crucifixion of
yeah.
Jesus.
I realized I was gonna say that. Yep, it's that
It was
like
like we're legit just going
we're
full
going here.
into that.
I'm
Great.
going here. Yep.
Yeah. Uh okay. Then we transition to yeah, this is happening. And everyone knows that Elliot's gone now, and Bonner's like, I'm going. And
Yeah,
Jeff's like,
but
you
you can't. She
can't,
takes
don't.
your earpiece out too, and then like finds a
Yeah.
gun. It's like
She's
I'm
like,
going.
nope. Takes it, grabs a gun, leaves, and Jen is just like, oh. She grabs her shit and goes. I'm like, yep. She's shaking charge because she's done with this shit.
Mhm.
And our friend Kai put quotes and it says Jet 4-1. God, I love not being in charge. 4-7. Now how's that working out for you? The thing is, Jet doesn't want to be in charge, but she's damn well good at it because she does not deal with shit. She does not deal with BS, and she will get stuff done when she needs to. So, Eric thinks he's saving and purifying the girls by doing this because they've been sinning.
Yeah, it's like can't get along with this one. I'm like,
No. Um, then we transition to Jet driving, and it's like one of the very first times we've seen her driving a car.
yeah,
So we
might
know
be the
that she
first
drives
time.
a car and not just a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Or take the train. And she's legit like, come on, pick up. She's trying to call Stabler
Bonner.
and
She's
Bonner
trying to call
and
Bonner
legit,
actually. She's trying to call Bonner
come on,
originally actually.
come
And
on,
the problem
pick
makes it look
up.
like she's trying to call Elliot, but like she's not. She's actually gonna call Bonner.
She's legit just trying to fix it. Nope. Okay. Um,
Yeah, but they're trying to help.
and then we transition back and Eric's like, I thought you were Stabler. I thought you were gonna be an obstacle.
But
But it turns out you're
you're
actually a
actually really
gift.
good. Here you go.
Oh God, this
What?
is getting creepy.
Oh, this is the part where he gets the I forgot to put in the notes. But basically what he's saying while he's saying this is he's gonna essentially put the nails in essentially is what
Yeah,
he's
legit
going.
gonna put fucking
But they don't have he has a screwdriver and a hammer. He doesn't actually have it for some
he was
reason. He says something about
gonna
like
try to
would
like
use what we have. He's like, well, we have to use what we have. And I'm like, oh,
yeah, legit he's gonna try to put the nails in Elliot like
because he does this to
he's
the victims. You know, it's like,
suspicious.
that's what this is.
Great. Um and then Elliot at one
He kind
point
of
is
goes on
like
some more rambling. And Elliot's like,
yeah,
why
and
do you
he's like,
need to
why do
be
you need
forgiven?
to be forgiven? And he's like, you have no idea. And Eric goes to rush Elliot. Well, somebody forgot to tie his legs, so
Yeah,
Elliot
that
kicked
was
him
his own dummy mistake.
very hard to the ground. And Bonner shows up and
Yeah, because Elliot's been trying to escape for a hot minute like, during this minute. And Elliot's not, I mean,
oh yep,
Eric's not
Danielle
looking.
wrote, oh, he forgot his legs were free.
Mhm.
Rolling, laughing, rolling, laughing. A whole dummy.
Well done.
Well,
He's so
after just um being distracted and on the ground and whatnot, Elliot breaks out and
Mhm. Of course he did. Yep.
legit
We didn't
tackles
expect
him
him
to
to
the
win,
ground.
which we were
In
should
the
have learned a
process,
lesson about this one, but he still tackled people to the ground.
gets stuck. I'm gonna be completely honest, and I know this is gonna get the other side of the fandom to be like, oh look, she's thinking like us. Was legit thought because slightly cuffed iron bar. I thought he was gonna hit him with the iron bar like
Yeah.
Olivia did Lewis.
And now Elliot likes his fist.
No, yeah, no.
He's
Elliot
a
prefers
fist.
fists and his own strength. So he tackled him to the ground. He got stabbed by something. It was a screwdriver. He legit stopped for a minute and just pulled it out. Like,
I'm like, you're not
no,
supposed to do that.
you're not
You're
doing.
not supposed to do that. They tell you first, like in general, if you were stabbed, you were not to pull it out because you
Yeah,
rip
no,
the
you
blood.
don't pull things out. It makes blood worse. Um,
Yeah, they tell you don't do that.
so yeah, Bonner has a gun. Is basically pleading for the brother to stop.
Mhm.
And for her brother, Eric starts to rush her with the hammer and nails.
Yeah,
And she shoots him
it's multiple times. Jeez, so
twice.
yeah, she
And he
make
falls on top of her.
mhm.
And it's basically really sad because she's like holding him and she's like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I love you. And she
Yeah,
is, and I'm like,
she's
oh my God,
that's it.
this
Oh,
is depressing.
it was supposed to be this sad. I was ready to be movie, but it was.
Yeah, and then we get the next scene of like ambulances and Elliot's in the thing with a,
He's just
Red hood on, just chilling, and Jet walks over and she's like checking on him.
Okay.
He's like, I got a few stitches, I'll be fine.
Well, they said he needed to go get stitches. He hadn't gotten them yet.
Yeah.
I said,
Um,
what?
and then,
And
he
she's like,
goes
he
to
gets up and
leave
she's
and
like,
she's
where do
like,
you
where do you
think you're
think
going?
you're going? Uh, church.
Which was right there.
And he goes to see Bonner. And as if the situation wasn't already sad, she goes, I had never even drawn my weapon before. My baby brother.
You know,
The first time she had used her service weapon was to kill her own
it wasn't
brother.
even her service weapon. She just had found the gun in the house. In the
Oh
house,
yeah.
it wasn't even
No,
her service.
it was to kill her own brother.
Man, that's really tragic.
That is very tragic. But then they get this really cool camera shot, and I think I saved it. I hope it did. Oh, I just somebody said great camera shot. I don't think I gotta see if I can find it. Oh, well, first here's Ayana in the pretty sweater. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, the EMT person was like, yeah, Elliot's gonna need stitches.
Okay, whatever.
Oh my god. Why can't I find the stupid thing?
You're at a minute and a half left. That's why. What are you looking?
I was looking for something and I found somebody that said they can't stand Jet, and I had to stop myself from replying and
Gonna be
being
a
like,
good
what the
noodle.
fuck are you talking about?
Exactly. Get off my get off. Being a good noodle.
Like, excuse me.
Who you
They're
think
like
you
the
are?
best part of the show. How
Literally the
dare. How dare.
time which we're looking for. We have like a minute before it goes down.
Yeah, no. We defend Jet no matter what. Period. End of story. Alright, I can't find the stupid thing, but whatever. It was like this gorgeous thing of the stained glass window and Bonner and Stabler looking at it, and it was just really gorgeous shot. And he's basically comforting her.
Yep.
Then we get a scene where Ayana's out walking and she has a cane to monitor her injury. And Kragen, because Kragen was gonna be in this, Kragen comes to talk to her and basically
He's like, you getting 2 for 1 deck with your PT. Okay, we're almost done. Literally, we're at the end. Um,
oh,
okay,
so
so
Ellen Kragen talking
yeah.
in regards to Elliot's IAB stuff. And we find out
Mhm.
that the lead investigator, who was also had his psych eval, um, was uh his
His dad's former partner. And
thank
I
you,
did have to
his
go back
dad's
and think about that when he said it. I was like, I gotta go dig back in from like Dan and Jim.
his dad's Elliot's dad's former partner was this guy's mentor. So basically, Warren blames Stabler for what happened to his mentor.
His mentoring ended his life is what happened.
Yeah. So somebody's out to get Elliot, and not just because he's of what he did as a cop, but because he's got a grudge.
Yeah.
So of course, his deeds aren't actually being investigated. It's legit because a grudge.
Hmm.
Um, all right, next. Stacy and the baby are okay. Thank God.
Yeah.
Um, we find out
the foil that Elliot had,
Oh, it had heroin that came from
and this foil came from Kandahar, which is in Afghanistan,
cool.
which, if you remember, um, name is blanking. Uh,
Isn't that where Joe Jr. was to play?
yes, yes, that's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to say, but it
Oh,
was like
oh,
clicking.
the pieces are coming together. Uh-oh.
Yeah, well,
Um, and they're legit just wrapping up, and Jet had a really cozy, pretty white sweater on. And we're gonna pause
hmm
for a minute because time for a little show. So, because legit have all these outfits that Jet wore this week, I have replicas. So the gray boots, but mine
hmm
don't have rhinestones. So hers are like rhinestones at the top. But these are what they look like. The first outfit, she had like a vest, pants, and a t-shirt. I don't have the vest, but I have the t-shirt. And then the vest was over this. And then these are the pants. Like
hmm
legit,
I have hands like that too.
these are the pants. And then I don't have the exact sweater, but this is what it looked like.
hmm
And um I love that they put Jet in like a light color because we're so used to seeing her in dark colors, but they legit put her in a white sweater.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, Jet can wear those colors too.
hmm
And it looked so pretty on Ainsley. It was almost uh like snow, like ethereal, like angel type stuff. It was really pretty. So, they're doing more investigating and they're finding, that Eric had his who Eric's first victim was.
hmm
And then Jet sees it and
They're like,
calls that stay and it's really like, oh God, you're gonna
you're
want to
gonna
see
want to
this.
see this?
It's like, oh God, what now? Then Elliot goes to meet Meredith in the diner and he has a folder and he's like, yeah, we found out who your brother's first victim was. And he slides the thing over and she opens it and it was their mom.
Yo, oh,
So yeah,
and
like
she's
Jet's
just sitting in
family, this
disbelief.
woman's life and family has fallen apart in an instant, and she's trying to
Yeah,
figure out if her brother did it or if her dad did it or dad's
yeah,
covering up
that's
or
still,
something.
yeah.
Anyway, not good. Um, yeah. So next week, Kragen is back. Still,
Mhm,
Kragen's here for another week.
mhm,
And while the Eric case might be done, Elliot still has to deal with the judge.
mhm.
And basically, they're mad at Elliot, so they're going after Elliot. And there's a scene where legit a bunch of masked men
In the
storm
diner.
the diner
Yeah,
and pointing guns at Elliot, and Elliot has his hands up, and Kragen's in the back.
and you're like,
Great.
it says, it's called Sins of Our Fathers. As Bell and the squad come up with a plan to bring the Westbrook case officially into their jurisdiction, Chief Bonner struggles with unanswered questions about her past and beloved town. Fable learns the outcome of his IAB investigation.
One of our other friends put this, and it's on Twitter that it's found, and it says Jet's the only detective now. Everyone else is injured or dealing with something.
Yeah,
That's the thing, though. Kind of is true. All right, what do you give this episode?
4.5. I like this one.
Yeah, it was good. I give it yeah, I do too. Legit, just because of the plot twist and everything, it was crazy.
For
All
once, it's
right.
the first time that like we gripe on Orange County. This is the first time it feels like they really like put together a storyline that feels
Yeah, this season has been really good.
yeah. Because people are like, this is the season. People never watched it. This might be the season to
The
watch
only
because of
two
what
things
happened.
that could make it better would be them bringing Jamie back in a musical episode.
Mhm. Yeah, solid.
Oh, and then bringing Malachi back, but that's
Yeah.
probably not gonna happen because he's in Chicago. But
Yeah.
a girl can hope.
Mm-hmm. We still ride Jellicoe. Don't worry. Need to fit
Still
through
in the
that.
Dick Wolf universe. Okay. All right. I think that's everything.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Right.
We're gonna go
We're
right
gonna
now.
it's time for bed. Actually, it's not time for bed for me. It's time for bed for you.
No, it's not.
It's time
I mean, I'm gonna crawl in bed. I'm not gonna go to sleep, but
exactly.
I will
But I
get
need
under my
my days.
covers. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Thanks for
All right.
listening.
Thanks for listening.
Love
Goodbye.
you. Bye bye.
Subscribe on YouTube or else I'll be under your bed. That's all.
Terryn, you can't say that to people.
He's a kid. Too bad. You're not even subscribed.
I will virtually make sure she doesn't do that.
Are
Okay.
you subscribed? No, you're not. So you're not subscribed either. Just
I don't know how to get to her channel.
we fine. I will send it to you. And you need to subscribe. So we have two subscribers. Two. Me and you. Redwood City subscribe. Alright, that's all. Anyway, I get delirious past 10 p.m.
Hey,
I start saying stuff. Alright, that's
thanks for
all.
listening, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for the chaos. Thanks for always staying for our chaos. We really appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That is all. Good night. Goodbye. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
listening.